Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Matt Latter and today we're going to continue the Pillars of Eternity Let's Play series. So, you may notice right ahead I've found something here. So I thought I'll quickly do a stealth run around in the circle. Didn't think it merited much video footage, so yeah. We found something. And it's just a scepter and some minor cash. So with that said and done, let's move out to Dyrford. Which is where I need to go for several quests, I think. So let's see what awaits us there. I'm excited. Dyrford Village. So, show me what's going on in here. Hireling payday, 700 copper. That's fine. Through Death's Gate, find someone in town who knows about the ruins. Okay, there's a church up here. Let's quickly take to the map. The Temple of Barath, the Dyrford Mill, Dracogen Inn, Winfrith's Arms and Armory, Grieving Mother, sounds interesting, and Teagle's Curriery. Wait, let's tackle them one after another, but before we do anything... Oh! What's going on here? How long do we gonna stand out here? Until we find her, so keep your eyes peeled. What are you looking for? An elf idles by the road, watching the village across the river. He nods as you approach, and the crowd and the cowled figure standing near him falls silent.
Well met, friend.
Oh, how's Dominal? A slow smile forms on as he eyes you. If I'm not mistaken, you and I share a common acquaintance in House Dominal. Indeed. I'm here on a little errand. There's a thief hiding out in the village, an Orlan named Neifre. She took something that belongs to the Dominals. I want to find her and get it back. What did you take? Doesn't matter, it belongs to the Dominals and they want it back. When you find her, what happens to her? He scratches his chin, a half smile on his face. The Dominals believe in setting an example. They want to make sure nonsense like this doesn't happen again. He clasps you on the back, but leave that part to me. So, you want me to find her? Oh, we're diplomatic enough. Simple. You're the smooth talker. All you need to do is find her and lure her out of hiding. My friends and I will take care of the rest. I'm not sure about that. Benevolent 3. He frowns, fidgeting with the handle of his weapons. Don't let your soft heart get the better of you. The Dominals make excellent friends and terrible enemies, as our last Neifre will find out soon. I won't repeat what you just said. Mind that you don't, either. We'll leave. He gives you a quick casual salute. Help me out, and I'll make sure our mutual friends hear about it. I don't like you guys. And I really don't like House Dominel. You sound like a bunch of capitalist douchebags. Not that I'm an enemy of capitalism in general. Just these super mega guild guys that murder their way through everything. That's not my style. Capitalist may have been the wrong word there. Okay, let's go inside the church. One after another, we'll work our way through the Dyrford village. Certainly looks nice already. Harbinger... what's his name? Bodmar? Flame stands amidst scattered offerings. Keys, coins, and the tiny skulls of birds and mice are mired in the melted and hardened wax. Let's talk to Selby. Talk to Beardmar. No one trusts me with anything more than lighting candles.
Out with you! I already told you what... I'm sorry. I thought you were one of those ruffians.
Oh, one of those outside? Looks like someone's beaten us here.
How may I help you?
What happened?
I never saw their faces. Strange hooded men asking about those ruins. Cleoban Relag. Most of the brigands who come through here asking about the ruins are looking for a few ancient trinkets. But these people knew the name, and they were in a hurry.
Just our type.
They wanted to know where Cleoban Relag was. I tried to keep it from them, but I couldn't hold out forever. I don't know what they were up to, but it can't be good.
Okay. Aleth looks at you, frowning. That does sound like the Latin key, doesn't it? The old priest nods politely. Is there something else I can help you with? Can you tell me where to find the ruins?
The Glanfathan tribe that guards the ruins will kill anyone who trespasses there. And they'll retaliate against us, too, if history is any indication. We've had too many fortune seekers stir up trouble of late. If I'm to tell you, I'll need to know your reason for wanting to go.
He folds his arms and stares at you with one eye and a scowl. So this is where I say, go into the ruins and I'll kill you. And that's when you say, hear of us, I'm a watcher and you're no match for all of us and we've got a good reason for this. And then I give up trying to argue with you and leave you to dig your own trespasser's grave. And I'm only being half metaphoric, we sometimes make deer wardens dig your own grave before we kill you. When the kids hear about it, it's a fabulous deterrent. Okay? What do we tell him? A dangerous plot is unfolding there. I've got to stop it.
If that's the case, then we may already have trouble headed our way. I'll have to take you at your word. You'll find Cleoban Relag here. Whatever trouble you find there, please end it quietly and try to stay out of the ruins.
Yeah, we can try. So tell me about the Dyrford. Folk here tend to keep to themselves, as they do in most towns this deep in the Dyrwood. They're suspicious of travelers, but with all the brigands and refugees moving through the area, who can blame them? So this is the Temple of Baroth. What can you tell me about him? Baroth is the most universal of all the gods. It oversees portals and cycles of all kinds, even life and death itself. Under Baroth, an ending is merely passage to another beginning. Baroth has many representations across time and across cultures. Around the Dyrwood, you'll commonly see depicted as the Pallet Knight or the Usher. The Glenfathans, however, know it as Benwyn Iancu and Ancu Benon. Okay. I've never heard of that. It means life and death and life respectively. You see them as two skeletal figures, one male and one female. Explorers have found them carved opposite one another in doorways, but I know of no particular legend that speaks of them. So the Pallet Knight then? She's one of the youngest manifestations of Baroth, but a familiar one nonetheless. Stories describe her as a gaunt knight in black armor with black eyes, black hair and milk-pale skin. She demands an impossible toll from travelers who have tarried too long on her lord's road. Some challenge her, only to slay themselves in the process. Okay, and the Usher? Kith have written stories, songs and poems about the Usher for centuries. Sometimes he's folk, sometimes dwarf, and sometimes merely a walking skeleton. He never speaks, but he guides the way to death and the next life. He also creates the circumstances for the wayward to stumble into their own graves. Thanks for the info. Let's go. Okay, now we have the location of the ruins, and that's already a good start. So let's see what else awaits us in here. And yeah, I think I won't help House Dominel here. A word, traveler. I only require a moment.
How do you do?
Oh, massive positive. How's Harond God? The guard sighs with relief as he looks at you. What are the odds? Stuck in this backwater only to meet the famed champion of Defiance Bay. Baroth's wheel brings mercy today indeed. His demeanor grows serious. Perhaps you could help. I don't suppose you saw a young elven noblewoman on the road. I'm stuck with this wretched place with the rest of my unit until we find her. Haven't seen anyone like that. Same as everyone else in this blazing village, he sighs. Perhaps you could speak to Lord Harrod at the inn anyway. He'll be grateful for the assistance, and it could be the locals will open up to you about the daughter's disappearance more than they have to us. Okay, so the daughter of a local or traveling through lord disappeared. We'll keep that in mind. Okay, let's go in here first then. This was the mill, if I'm right. Yes, it was. Some villagers. Nothing much else. Yeah, there literally wasn't anything in here. Well, that's fine. Not every place needs to have its own story and its own action going on. So, down here, we have Rumbold. Let's talk to that guy. A man paces angrily in front of a wrecked animal pen, his sun-weathered face twisted with ire. He's so wrapped up in his fury that he doesn't seem to notice you. Gallowing slobbering beasts, blazing bloody effigy, thrice-damned salty wench, and her socky. Notices us. What's wrong? That monster stole my pigs! Traipsed into the village, turned on my pen, and made off with the whole damned herd. Just let a few little runs, and that's what I'm supposed to do with them? At least you're still in one piece, that's something to be thankful for. But these pigs are my livelihood, what am I supposed to do now? He bites his lip and closes his eye. His nostrils flare with each quick, angry breath. Why is always telling me to mind my temper? Just breathe deep and count to 10. An ogre moved into the area not long ago. Folk had been seeing glimpses and tracks out in the wood, but it seems to be staying away from town. Or so we all thought until it made off with my pigs. Now everyone's afraid it's going to develop a taste for kith, if it already hasn't. Tell me how I can help. I know it's too late to get my pigs back, but I'd set my mind at ease to see that thing's head shorn from its neck. In fact, you bring its ugly pate to me and I'll trade you for something that's of less use to a farmer like me than to a rowdy-looking sod like yourself. Okay, what do you know about the ogre? Ah, since we're from the White Lands, I guess they don't have those where you come from, do they? It's the same as any other, I'm sure. A big, ugly son of a bitch with a nasty temper and an appetite to match. Tirgil could tell you more. He claims to have seen it in the woods. You can find him in his shop right by the broken tower. Okay, do you know of Nifra? Never heard of her. Check. So, another quest, the Farmer's Plight. We don't want to steal. A villager and house Heron God. Okay, this guy doesn't talk much. Anything up here? Nope. Let's go inside. The Dracogen Inn. Dracogen. I think it is pronounced. Okay, here we have Sid. And
I just want to find her. Surely even you can understand that.
We're decent folk, my lord. Perhaps you should leave and check the wilds.
okay. Let's talk to Sid first.
Hello.
A redhead stands by the fire, tuning her lute and plucking its strings. She hums snatches of a melody as she goes. First time at the Dracogen. Normally I'd have a song ready, but I haven't quite worked out the tune yet. I'm writing some chants about the founding of this inn. Say, you interested in the story? I haven't finished the chants, but I could tell you about it all the same. I mean, sure, why not? It was built in the time of Hadrod's Brelin. An Idirian lady Thainu once had a keep here. One of the towers still stands, but the rest is said to be buried under the village. Anyway, she stuck to the side of the Empire, and the contingent of Duke Hadrod's Knights of the Crucible helped the farmers and colonists in the area turn her keep into rubble. This inn was the first building that sprang up from the ruins, built with some of the same bricks the colonists had pulled from the Lady Thainu's castle, they say. Supposedly, the quarterstaff of her chief wizard even got lost in the construction, mortared into a wall or nailed under floorboard. Note to self, walk through everything here sneaking. Anyway, the inn was supposed to be a haven and a meeting place while the locals built their new town. Go on. You Woodens are an ornery lot, and the more these new neighbors met, the more they argued. They realized they didn't agree on much besides ousting the old lord. The biggest divide was over the Glenfathans and their nearby ruins. Hadrod's Knights and their supporters wanted to keep the peace, but a group of misfits with more anarchistic leanings that had formed in town wanted to go after the tribes the same way they'd gone after the lord. Soon the villagers were fighting with each other as much as with the adherents. In the end, memories of the Broken Stone War and the War of Black Trees were fresh enough that the Duke's soldiers won the day. Most of the other villagers came around eventually, but some of the core troublemakers left to join the front lines on the War of Defiance, and others, I've heard, found their way into the Guided Compass, the most forward-looking of the Glenfathan tribes. I don't know if I believe that part myself, but it makes a good story. She points to the east wall. There's a portrait of one of the chief rebel-rousers and his rival in the peacekeeping faction. Someone's idea of a joke. I don't think they were particularly amused. Okay, the broken stone wall then. That was the first major conflict between the original Idirian settlers and the Glenfathans. Happened 3 years into the colonization, when some farmers knocked over an Atra menhir that was part of an Ingwithan ruin. The war didn't last long, but it spread quickly and claimed thousands. In the early weeks, most of the colonists didn't even realize there was a war going on until the Glenfathan raiders hit their villages. There had been small, spontaneous skirmishes between the colonists and the locals before then, but this was organized, and was the start of decades of violence between the colonists and the Glenfathans. As you can see, Dyrford's full of history, even in little villages like this. Okay, War of the Black Trees. It started back in the colonial days, almost 30 years after the Broken Stone War. Even though isolated conflicts still broke out between the settlers and the Glenfathans, both sides had officially agreed to peace. Edrang Hadred, Admeth's father, was Gref at the time. As part of peace negotiations, he'd signed treaties prohibiting Idirian colonists from looting Ingwithan ruins. However, he'd been unable to outlaw the use of captured Glenfathan as slaves. What's a Gref? A Gref is the governor of a colony and the subservient to the Idirian emperor. The early leaders of the Idirian colony in the Dyrwood, including Edrang and Admeth Hadred, were Grefs. At the start of the War of Defiance, Admeth Hadred declared himself Duke of an independent Dyrwood rather than Gref of the Emperor's colony. It was the same term used for leaders of the newly invented Valian republics. Anyway, we haven't had a Gref since. You see, indeed, the taking of Glenfathan slaves had continued to be a source of conflict. It came to a head when imperial agents, aided by certain earls in the Dyrwood, began looting the ruins again. See, the Empire had never actually agreed to Hadred's treaties on the matter, and the recent successions of the Valian republics likely left them eager to weaken Hadred's position. The looting sparked a brutal slave uprising and a guerrilla campaign amongst the Glenfathans. Edrang Hadred was too old to lead forces into battle, and so he sent his son, Admeth. Admeth made a costly but effective decision that ended the war faster than anyone could have imagined. He burned the forest near the Icesian River to keep the Glenfathan warbands from retreating. Thousands of Glenfathans died, and as Admeth repeated his scorched earth tactics in the following months, he wore down the remainders of their forces. To this day, over 150 years later, there are still sections of Dyrwood where the trees are nothing but bare, charred trunks. That was a history lesson for sure. Let's talk to Dangler.
Hello!
The innkeeper digs inside a mug with a dirty rag. His eyes under thick brows are tired but watchful. He gives you a quick nod as you approach the bar. Don't see many travelers these days. Something can help you? What was the exchange with the nobleman? He looks up from polishing his tankard and glows at the lord. Folk around here's decent. They mind their own business. You want to stick your nose in it, go talk to him yourself. Okay. I have questions about the Dyrford. He runs his rag around the rim of the mug. Ask. Have you seen an Orlan named Nifre? He chucks his head at the stairs. Twitchy lady, that one. That was easy. I said you don't see many travelers. Of course not. Why would they come here? We got bandits on the road and Nogan in the forest, as that yapping fool Rumble will tell you. Worse yet, hasn't been a healthy child born here in over a year. Most kids come here are just passing through. Okay, thank you. Do we have anything for sale? Do we need camping supplies? No, we don't. Okay. Anything in here? Pace. Okay. Can't speak to him. Lord Harond. The man wears Aedean-style robes, simple but elegant. His fine leather shoes look like they were made from padding around indoors, yet they're caked with mud. He yanks at the lock of his hair twined around his silk-gloved fingers. His fine features are etched with anxiety.
My child is out there. Do they not understand?
My lord, we're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, these villagers...
Beasts take them all. I don't care how you do it, but find her.
Okay. Your child is missing, I take it?
Yes, Lady Alice, my daughter. I've asked around, but nobody in this mud hole has any concerns beyond their swine. They turn my men away like beggars and seem downright pleased to be of no use. But you're not one of my soldiers. And you look like you're used to getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind my saying so.
His guard leans in. My lord, Harrond raises a hand to silence the man. If you find her, he nibbles at the thumb of one silk glove. Tell her I won't be upset with her. She can come back and all will be well. I just want to make sure my Elise, my child, is safe. Nothing in the world is more important to me. Okay, couple questions about
Elise. Of course.
her. Describe her. She's a striking young woman, bears more resemblance to her mother than to me. She has auburn hair and delicate, well-bred features. She must be, 28 or 29 now. Tell me about the disappearance. We'd stopped in Dyrford for a few days. On our 4th evening here, I was making plans to continue our journey. Lady Elise was feeling unwell and went to bed. When I retired a couple hours later, I found that she had vanished. None of my men had seen her go, and no one at the inn knew where she was. Since then, my people have been combing the village, but we've yet to find a clue. And the locals have been of no help. Why did you come here? It was merely a stop along the way to Aina's Rest. However, she took ill shortly before our arrival, so it seemed prudent to allow her a few days to recover. What's in Aina's Rest? He frowns as if about to protest, but gives in with a sigh. Lady Elise has reached an age where it is prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy business, I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do want her womb to fester in the presence of so many hollowborn. Oh. Yeah, there are better roads along the coast. Wouldn't it have been easy to follow them? If I thought that, I wouldn't be slogging through the forest, would I? He waves a hand. The main roads are clogged with people fleeing one way or another or try to escape Waidwen's legacy. It would be difficult for a caravan like mine to pass without incident. At the time, it seemed prudent to move quietly along the back roads. So there would be more potential suitors in New Heum or New Yarmouth. I think I haven't considered that. Arranging a suitable match is difficult. The best prospects for my child lay in Aina's Rest. So where's the rest of your family? Lady Harrond is ill-suited for travel, I'm afraid, and unfortunately Elise has few other close relatives. My sister and her husband, Elise's aunt and uncle, of course, have been visiting Edir these past months. He rubs his knuckles. As for siblings, Elise has none. My wife has only given birth to Hollowborn, since Elise, that is. Okay, but back to your daughter. Okay. I have a clue why she is nowhere to be found. I guess it's a classical doesn't want to get forcefully married. It would make sense. So... Oh, Neifra. Nolan hovers by the window, peering out of it every few seconds. As you enter the room, she watches you carefully, her hand hovering over her stiletto. She cranes her head and peers behind you. Anyone follow you? Who sent you? I was just looking around. The man leaning against the wall glances out the door and nods to the Yorlan. The hand over her weapon relaxes, but she still watches you closely. Some old friends from Defiance Bay are looking for me. We're not exactly friends anymore, if you catch my drift. I'm just trying to lie low and mind my own business. Know what I mean? Boss. Nomana looks at the Yorlan and chucks his head at you. Alright. She raises a hand to the Omana before turning back to you. Our friend here thinks you could maybe have help to us. Now I'm sure you're a busy man, so I'll make it worth your while. She flips you a few coins. Just go take a look around town. Come back and let me know if the coast is clear or if you see any suspicious figures. We're pretty suspicious. What's this about? She scratches the back of her neck. I may have gotten myself into trouble with some powerful people in Defiance Bay. Powerful criminal people. I suppose it was bound to happen eventually. I'm a thief by trade, and that's hard to do my kind of business in the city without crossing them eventually. Now I'm just trying to put some distance between us. Very well. Can we tell her right away?
How do you do?
Okay, yeah, First, do you know anything about Elise Harrond? The girl everyone was looking for, she was already missing by the time I got to town. Okay, we'll be honest, go east. Madroth's waiting for you just west of the river. She nods slowly. Alright, I'm trusting you. Don't have much choice. See if you can send him the other way. That should buy me some more time. She follows the hooded figure towards the stairs, giving you a final uncertain glance as she passes through the door.
I
Yep,
shall be
I
discreet.
think I've pretty much decided to work against House Dominal from now on. Aha!
Something over there.
There it is! The staff. Let's take a closer look at it. Here. A Guildmaster staff. Restore minor endurance, 3 per rest, more weapon reach. Not that great actually. Let's yeah, let's make it fine. Enchant. And secondary damage. You're doing more burning stuff anyway, so we'll give you the burn damage increase. There we go. Now it's a fair deal more powerful, that one. And yeah, that was actually quite lucky to spot that. I was trying to look around for what's her name? Elise.
Simple test.
If she's left some clues somewhere.
That's settled.
Oh, but there's some money. Doesn't count as stealing, so we do it. Okay, so we go outside and tell the House Dominal guy to go basically westward. At least it seems like we're done in here already. So let's go to the west once the game has loaded. There we are. And now it's daylight.
The Stelgar was on top of me, and I was face down in the dirt.
Arrow to the throat. That stops him.
What? No! I was spirit shifted, and she was in heat, so I aimed for the throat, but not with an arrow.
Naughty druid. Hey, Medrith.
Welcome.
Found a knife for it. I'm ready to get out of here. I don't like being deceptive. Fuck House Dominal. She snuck out of the back of the inn and went north. He squints at you, pulling the grass into between 2 flimsy threads. Did she now? And how would you know that? The innkeeper told me, said the bed sheets were hanging out of the window. She won't get far. He grins and hands you a pouch of coins. You've been most helpful. My employers in House Dominal will send their thanks. Well, have fun going nowhere. And while this mini cutscene was going on, we had some events happen. They Who Woke the Stars, a quest, and taxes collected. So about that quest. The Glenfathan astronomers who predicted the lava's tide that destroyed Ondra's gift took many of the instruments and notes and hid them out of fear they might be captured by the Idioms. Decades after the war, the tribes recovered the astronomers' work. Unfortunately, all of the original astronomers had died, and much of their writing was penned in an unknown cipher. 2 valiant dukes have offered great reward for anyone who can help crack the cipher for the Glenfathans. The tribes are reluctant to let anyone look at the notes. Sorry. But believe it would be better to share the knowledge and let it remain a secret. This seems like something for Kana to do. Oh, he's already busy, right? So, or priest. She gets to do that. Okay, and on that note, I'll have to end this episode again. We're nearing the half-hour mark, so I do thank you all for watching and hope you had some fun. If you did, consider commenting, liking, or even subscribing. I'd be happy about every one of those. You can also follow me on Twitter at _MattLatter for all the news updates. Feel free to hit me up either there or here on YouTube. With that said, thanks again for watching. Hope to see you the next time.